fine to be shared after the meeting.
Thanks a lot, Aya. I think it's best that we share all the documents after, because right now it's too blurry, and we share with the YouTube link and the rest, and with all the steps to all the exhibitors that will attend, and then all participants will have access to the recording. So just as a recap, we indeed had a bit of delay to share the links to all payments that were already processed or sponsored booth. So all the links to the videos and also exact process will be shared with all exhibitors. I saw a message about who are the exhibitors. We will be able to maybe upload the updated list on Canva, so you can see who have been selected to date as an exhibitor by either SheTrades or either the BSOs that are leading delegations. Tara, sorry to put you on the spot.
No, sure. Let's.
Do you think it'll be able? We can go through the next steps? So I saw some questions about how to prepare the documents, as we'll be able to share exactly how to upload all those documents through the video that Aya will share, and also the documents that Event10X will share with us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Aya.
Oh gosh, it's early in the morning for me. So good morning, everyone. I don't know, I don't have the other screen open, but I'm assuming I know who's here because all of us now have become quite close these couple of months of the road to SheTrades Global preparing. Today, we're going to be focusing on all sectors, but Aya was wonderful to show us the logistics of it, the backside of it. Now we need to talk about the most important components. So today we're going to be showing you, you have your video, you have your brochure, you have your social media, you have your beautiful avatars, your logo. I'm going to focus on what we need for the buyers overall, and the preparation you need to be doing now. There is a huge misconception that you just attend a show and it's on the show's responsibility to generate buzz about the show. Those of you that have heard me speak before or have attended trade shows with me, or have just heard different people speak that have gone to trade shows with me, understand there's so much work we all have to do in a good way of promoting as well. So my focus today is going to talk about the pre-work that we need to do, how digital tools to give you the line sheets, product catalogs. Those of us in IT need to have a really good listing of our product services. Those of us in agriculture, now it's all about storytelling, right? The supply chain that's involved. You need to really be able to demonstrate that. So I will show you the different digital tools. Agata from Rand Studios in the next session is really going to show you the importance of using Instagram to show that supply chain, even if you're in agriculture. So just really want to make sure everything that I'm saying now is really focusing on the different sectors. But I digressed. And then I'm going to show you the tools to do it, and then just some different tricks. So we'll get right into it. But it is, it's just so important that everyone takes the time to do this. As you can see, this is your brand, right? This is your business. This is the first thing that I'm going to see. So you need to have a strong logo. Please do not put up a quick, fast logo. Please make sure that it's high resolution. Make sure that it's your current logo. So if I go onto your website, if I go onto any of your documents, please don't put a different logo, right? We want this to be very streamlined. So please make sure, again, what you're putting here matches all your documents. So if you've rebranded, like many of us have, please make sure immediately you go through, like we've talked about previously, but do a check. Go through and do a whole online check. I'm sure Agata will mention this too as well, but please, if anything, take the time and load documents that make sense. Do not rush this, because this is what you're going to be using to sell to buyers, right? And to be networking. You really want to make sure as well, please put up a picture that's good. makeup ready, as we say. Really make sure, you know, all of us, we don't want to be rushing. I know myself, I'm the worst with passport pictures, but I try to make sure when it's something like this, I take my time, right? So make sure that your pose is inviting, make sure you look happy. Please don't look mean. You really want to be selling, right? You are your brand ambassador, right? It can just be you. You don't have to have two people, but just make sure you take the time, take a couple of pictures, see the dimensions that Aya is going to give you. 10x will give you the dimensions. Make sure then that your head isn't stretched, right? Because you didn't follow the right dimensions to do that. So slow down, take the time, start thinking about this as you're getting the links. Make sure, again, you have a couple of different options of pictures so that you're not under pressure. And then the worst thing is you have a terrible picture where you look kind of grumpy and not very inviting, right? You really want to make sure, and that's why Agatha is coming up next. You have to make sure your social media is really on point, as we say in the industry. Really make sure that it's engaging. This is what I think you've now all been hearing. Those of you that are in agriculture, I notice a lot of you have been jumping onto our webinars for the textile and apparel side. Those of you in tech, I hope if you're offering tech services, you have a good LinkedIn page, okay? It's very, very important. So Agatha is really gonna get into the storytelling of using Instagram, but it's important for all sectors. But again, of course, make sure whatever social media pages you have and you link here, please make sure they're current, please make sure they're clear. I don't want, again, a different logo, different branding than your product services book, your company deck. Please make sure that social media is on point, right? It's streamlined. Everything you're doing has one message across all the platforms, right? We're finding that buyers, this is what they do. They're using social media more than they ever have before because it's an easy snapshot to see the transparency in your supply chain. Those of us, and it doesn't matter what sector you're in anymore, you have to show you care for your employees. You have to show that you have transparency. You have to demonstrate that you are digital, right? It's very important. Even if you're in agriculture, there has to be digital options to communicate with your buyers. This is where this all comes down to, and that is why it's more than just the back end of this. It's now thinking of the big picture. Your brochure, lookbook, and line sheets, I'm going to be showing you different tools right after this, how to do it. Aidan O'Neill is going to be showing you right after Agatha, how do you take the pictures? He's going to be showing examples. He really took some amazing agriculture videos and images from farmers in Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire and somewhere else over the summer that was utilized in a trade show, a very successful trade show. So he's going to be showing us not only the fashion side, those of you that know him from the fashion side, he also is going to be showing from an agriculture point of view. And those of you in product or in services, very important that you look at this too as well, because you have to story tell your, Vodafone or, Safaricom, or, I'm thinking of East Africa, West Africa, MTN, you need to basically show them, you have to show them the process of that. If you're showing people putting up, poles for or maintaining the services, the poles, the towers, sorry, brain's fried, then make sure that these people are wearing safety items, right? You want to make sure that everything looks safe and they look happy. We don't want grumpy employees in these pictures too as well. So very important, you don't just throw up a lookbook or throw up a company deck or a service listing or an agriculture, the different products. Think about every picture that you're putting up. Fashion, it's the same thing. But I think people just think, oh, in fashion, we have to do this. No, it's branding is in everything now. As people are getting these free tools, as people are doing more of this, the people that are being very savvy and thinking of the big picture, not just, actually pun intended, the big picture of all your pictures, making sure again that all components are your brand. You're thinking of what the buyer's looking at all times. Please, with COVID safety, especially now with this past week of panic that is happening in the globe, think about that as well. The pictures that you're using, make sure if they're standing really close, they have a mask on. Or you have a disclaimer that says this picture was taken in 2020 or prior to 2020. But then think about that. We're now going into 2022. The show will be February or January through the end of March, right? And or even earlier. That's 2 years ago. So you're not really having then current pictures, and then a buyer is going to wonder why. So just think about that. I'm not saying go spend millions and trillions of dollars to do this. Aiden will show you the free tools of how to take very good pictures and give you tips, but be very mindful of what's happening in the globe. There's fear right now. There's a fear of supply chain again. We're seeing all the supply chain issues, the shipping problems that are happening. So you want to, with everything that you're doing, think of that. Am I showing that I'm a safe employer? Am I showing, safety standards? Am I showing that I'm aware of what's happening in the globe? Am I communicating that I can ship quite quickly if I can, that I know logistics? That's for all the sectors. I know services you deliver differently, but you want to be able to show that you can quickly alleviate a problem if that's happening, right? Because people are having a hard time finding suppliers right now because of the labor shortage that there is internationally. So if you're lucky and you have an amazing team that's still with you in the service side, make sure again you're showing that and showing that you provide 100% amazing customer service. Make sure you have your customer testimonials. These things are very important. So you really want to make sure that you're thinking of these things. A video, please make sure that it is a good video. If you don't have a good video, then don't put it up, right? Aiden's going to show you some tips. We also will link, I think we can do that, the emails that we'll be sending out will show different examples of how you do a brand video with your phone if necessary, but just make sure that, again, that it's not shaky, all right? It's not blurry. See what we just went through before, like even, we're having technical difficulties, right? You want to make sure that you don't have technical difficulties. You want to make sure that your video looks great, and it's going to be on YouTube, right? Or Vimeo, right? That's the way to get this here. So you want to make sure that if I discover this video outside this platform, that it is really on brand, right? Everything you're doing. Please, again, don't use something maybe that's very old if your employees are right on top of each other, right? And working very close with no masks. Think about that again. A buyer is very afraid of that. They're going to be worried that if you have a COVID outbreak, can you make your deliveries on time? Wait a second here. Do you value your employee safety? Again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I've met many people that said, oh, I'll just throw that video up, right? We're even seeing in Expo 2020, what they're now shifting a lot. They're talking about safety all the time in Dubai. Safety, safety, safety. We have your safety. We have your safety. So this is part of the process now. So you're not just selling your products, you're selling, again, transparency, you're selling safety, streamlining everything. And again, you don't have to spend tons and tons of money on this. So I'm just going to show you some free tools here. Also as well, I can't see the team, the global team. I can't see any of the questions because I don't have that screen up. So please let me know if there's any questions or comments. Also as well, this is closed caption. I know I'm speaking very quickly because I'm very passionate about this topic. So make sure if you're struggling with my speed, which I know can be fast, I get very passionate, make sure you click the closed caption, which will translate for you. So in order to not spend tons of money and still look good, guess what? The world has changed completely. So let's take your logo. There's something called Canva. Canva will basically change your life, okay? I always suggest for brands, and I'm saying brands because this is, all of you have a brand, okay? You need to come up with a color palette. And I know you in the tech side and IT services, I know you in agriculture, you're saying, are you losing your mind? I'm selling swap. Oh, there's a question regarding product trends. This focus will be, if I have time at the end, I will talk about product trends. I should have time, so I'm going to focus on this and then swap on. I know you love my product trends, so I will get to that. But basically, you need a color palette. You need to basically determine what your color palette is, and you're going to be using those colors over and over and over again. A lot of us work with interns, a lot of us work with other people. You need to have this, even if you're, again, it doesn't matter where you are in the supply chain, you need to be thinking of your branding, right? And to be consistency. You want to be able to really think ahead with this. You really want to make sure that you do this. This is something, again, you will hear Aiden, you're going to hear Agatha, you're going to hear basically all the experts always refer back to Canva. It's free. You basically create an account with your email, and they have tons and tons and tons of templates. Great starting out point for those of you that don't use any other tools. And again, it's a really great way to even get examples. They even have templates for, sorry, I'm doing too many things here, logos. They have, so you see here, they have invitations, cards, you can do resumes, logos. You basically can design a logo here. And there's great ideas that come from this as well, and they're free. So please, again, if your logo is very pixelated or you're not happy with it, really great ideas. And you can see all the different types, categories that are in here as well, right? So it is really important that, you start thinking more streamlined with your brand. So I don't want to log on here and see a very bad logo as a buyer when I actually know there's all these free tools, and it seems like you didn't care, right? If you don't care about the little things of the branding part of it, how do I know you're going to care about the quality of everything that you deliver? It's psychology, it's subconsciously the buyer thinks about that. Oh, maybe they're not really good at their packing. Maybe they don't double check. So again, you probably were Aiden, he mentions that, mentions, I can't speak, that a lot as well. But again, why would you put up a bad logo when it's right here? So please, again, start going back, upload your logo, see if it's pixelated and say, okay, wait a second here, I need to change this. Please, in your email as well. I get so many emails from people that they have a bad logo as well. It's every touch point the buyer is going to interact with. You need to be very streamlined. Again, free tool, Canva, and you basically can click into this. There's wonderful videos that you can be using, and you can basically design your own logo. Another great thing that is offered as well, those of us that have are in the fashion side for a second, I'm going to focus on fashion and then I'm going to get to the other side, but quickly, there's something called for your line sheets and lookbooks on product catalogs. There's something called Brand Boom. It's free, okay? It's free. I'm sorry, this is very life-changing because those of us that do these all the time, and a lot of us, it's amazing how many messages I receive from people that say, do you know who I can hire to do my lookbook? Well, guys, this is free. So I just uploaded these random photography pictures, and basically I put in some random pricing. I just threw this in here. They have a how-to video that you can watch. You go on to brandboom.com, you put in your email, you then basically, they have different tutorials, very simple. And then they walk you through how to upload these images. You put when the ship date is, the cancel date, and then watch this amazingness that happens. You hit PDF. You can make this how you want it to look. You can say, maybe I don't want the prices to show, up to you. How many, different items do I want? What is the paper size? What are the different views? And then I hit download and voila, okay? I now have a professional line sheet, okay, or product catalog. This is not just for apparel, this is across the board. So you can really, to be honest with you, do this with agriculture as well. To be honest with you, you could do this and basically throw an avocado picture. You don't have to have spring collection. You could change that name. You don't need the ship and start date, right? And you can write a bit more description. I just wrote, just general information about what this was here. This is for free, okay? I don't want to see an Excel sheet. I don't want to see a mess when I go on and I hit download. When I hit product catalog here, I want to see something of this caliber. Again, I want to reiterate, this image can be anything, okay? And you get to download this as a PDF. And this is completely free. Just want to reiterate that again. The links we will put in a document that I have, but it would be just, again, amazing if you've been using other ways, different, not as nice templates, Excel, again, this is very, very professional. Those of us that are a little bit more savvy with basically tools, there's something called Indesign. You can do what I do, a free trial over and over and over again. It is a bit more complex. You have to watch a bit more how-to videos if you're not as familiar with this change, this platform. But it's another type of free tool that you can use, and then you can pay for it afterwards. I'm a free trial junkie. I have a million different emails that I use. Shh, don't tell them. But really make sure, again, that you're thinking of the different tools. I'm also obsessed with FlipStack, okay? FlipStack it changed my life discovering this. I have to do so many different, with my other work, I have to do lookbooks and line sheets and all these kinds of things all the time. It is, you pick from, this is just a template. Look at how beautiful this is. You could basically, use this exact format, and then you could put information about your business. You basically, again, pick from all these different templates, and look, you can even put a video. You can make this online. How wonderful. And you have tons and tons of options. Those of us in tourism, those of us in tech, look at the different options that you have, company profile. So you can just pick different items that you could use. So if you're in tourism, look at this. How easy is this? You select it, you pick it, and okay, hold on, it's going to get rid of now. Go ahead. Just kidding. Aha. How great is this? You can put your picture of your resort there. You can basically change the different text that is there. And this is the same for agriculture. This is the same for tech, depending on what your products are. You have all these different free templates to use. I think you have 5 different types, and then they ask you to pay. But really, it is such an amazing tool, so easy to use. And then you just download that and you have a really good document, and it's free. So I do not want to hear or see bad documents, right? We really want to make sure when there's all these free tools. So FlipStack, you have Canva, you have Brand Boom that does all the work for you. And, don't overthink it. When there's something already here and done, make sure, again, it's back to your brand colors, right, that we talked about. Make sure that, you're staying and using the same colors throughout. So when I log on to your booth, I'm going to see that logo there. I'm going to see, your brand video that's probably going to have a picture of your brand. And again, the same logo. So again, there's no reason to have anything of poor quality when you have it right here. I, again, sometimes get stuck. Sometimes, you kind of get a little bit sometimes lost for inspiration. Those of us in the fashion side, I'm going to talk about fashion just for 1 second, a bit more. We have to be a bit more, how do I say this? Fancy and pretty, right? So I always go into Pinterest if I'm ever stuck. I use, again, you can go and there's amazing templates here on the FlipStack screen, but I also like to look at just for inspiration, and then you could find something that's very similar on FlipStack. I love going through and just seeing the different items that are there. So those are the components of the booth, right, that you need to have. And I really hope everyone understands this isn't just for 10X, this is for your business in general. So the same thing, Lisa, for video production services, how would this work? Well, I need to know about your company. I need to know about your clients. I think, could you just, Lisa, if you could just write and confirm, you offer video production services or you're sourcing video production services, because that's two separate things. And then if Wendy or Krupa could let me know, but it's the same. So think about it. This could be for anything. Give me a client, put your company, signature company picture of your video production. Okay, you offer, perfect. So anyone that's offering services, think about it. You could use this here. Let's go back to company deck. Sorry, hold on. Let's take one. There's a company annual report, company name brochure. Let's use this. Perfect. Let's see if they'll let me, because I'm kind of at my limit of free. Perfect. Show me a video. Okay, show me basically a picture of a video camera. They're basically, you're trying to sell your company. So show me a very good company logo, show me the name of your company, and then say that your production services, right? And then put a picture of a video camera or whatever you think is your signature image. Then basically list services. So you see here, this is just basically, general information, product services that are offered. See, and then they just threw in a picture. So basically it's thinking of how are you going to, show what you offer. So put that right up from the start. What types of production services do you offer? I would have client testimonials here. See these quotes? Again, I'm picking just a general template. You have to pick something that is written with your colors. Basically, maybe show you on location, show how you are handling COVID. A lot of people want to know how you do production during the COVID times. And basically, how clients are so important. Main services, there you go. I would move that to the front. That's my personal opinion. And you see how now basically you could change these icons to video production items. So just really make sure that, think outside the box a little bit, actually think in the box, not out of the box. Use these templates that are here. And again, it's all done for you, but you're going to have to take some time. So I'm speaking very quick and I'm throwing different things at you. You need to go, all of us, take the time, step by step. Here's my logo colors. Right, now I'm going to be going into and doing my production services. So, sorry, just confirming the other team will be joining right after me. So apologies for being distracted. Just want to make sure we all could join and make sure this is seamless for you. Again, first the logo, first the brand colors, then the logo, then I come into FlipStack. I rushed and just threw something in here. Lisa and other people, you're going to be going, if you're in services, and spending a bit more time, right? Going and finding the right type of template that you like. The best part is, again, you can delete and move. You're not just stuck with all of this. Those of you in the fashion side, I suggest going here, go to Pinterest, get excited. You see how they said 20 gorgeous, pointing like you can see, sorry, 20 gorgeous designs, a gorgeous InDesign lookbook templates. That was that InDesign thing I was showing you where you have a bit more freedom, but get inspired, right? Think of now, what images do you want to use? What type of shooting do you want to do? And Aiden and Agatha will get to that. But really you have to have the starting point of kind of what you want it to look like in your head first. That's the biggest component there. But that's just for the platform, okay? So Aiden's going to get more into photography parts. I'm not going to talk about as much as that was, and then social media, Agatha is amazing. So I'm not even going to get there, but you have to do a lot of work ahead of this show. So those are the components that you need. We'll be talking about that you need, but you're going to have to do more work than that as well. You have to invite buyers to this platform, okay? You need to, as a brand, you're going to be part of SheTrades Global Dubai, okay? This is giving you such credibility. I just hope you understand being part of anything at Expo 2020 is quite a distinguished, how do I say it, marking point for a brand. It's showing you're on the global stage. You're at one of the, the top international markets and events in the globe. But but you need to let buyers know, okay? You need to make sure that you're getting people coming to your platform. This is something, a big mistake. I've been going to trade shows for years, and I meet people and they say, I went to a trade show and nothing happened. Well, guess what? You have to do the work and let people know you're here. Buyers are inundated with information, okay? They don't have time necessarily to go through everything as much as they used to, okay? And again, you need to make sure you as a business owner are targeting the right places, okay? So someone like Lisa, I'm picking on you, I'm sorry. You now need to go and think, wait a second here. I need to find out who needs my services. Well, Lisa, you're kind of very lucky because everyone on this platform needs your services. So you're very, very lucky. But you need to target people that are going to pay for your services, that basically understand and welcome having video type services. So I'm laughing because what is this right here on the screen for this market preparation? This would be video services, right? The brand is beaming their brand to these buyers that are sitting there. This is across all product categories, okay? IT meetings, this is happening. This is the new way of doing business. So people need to think a bit more strategically. So I'm just throwing this image up here because it doesn't matter if this was any type of service. This could be an agriculture meeting. Buyers, no matter what, look like this. Whoop. They are having numbers. They, are making sure that they're speaking to someone that is matching their customer. See how prepared they are. They've printed out the lookbook ahead of the meeting, the product catalog, the service catalog. So if they're meeting with Lisa, they probably have their services in front. They have a budget that they need to work through. They're going to look at the product services that you offer and your pricing. If you're in services, agriculture, you know how these meetings go. It's very intense. You better have your supply chain. The buyer's done some research ahead of time. They have now that printout of an avocado instead of a shirt. And you better be prepared for this, right? So a lot of this goes into these meetings. So it's very, very important that you have the components. So I think you just understood what I just said. What is your signature? Basically, what are you known for? Okay, this is really going to help you as you're doing your outreach prior to this. So this is the work. So we have the marketing materials that you need to do, but now you really need to think about your messaging, because this is very, very important. And you're saying, Tara, like I'm trying to do a trade show, and you're saying outreach, but prior to you begin outreach and connecting with buyers and really inviting them, what is your unique selling point? If you're in agriculture, why do I want to work with you when there's a million other avocado providers, let's say? Especially now in avocado, it's becoming almost diluted, right? So many people are going into avocados. So why do I work with you? What, are you known for organics? Are you known for, a certain type of, hybrid seed, right? I'm throwing these things out here. What are you known for? And what is your company story? It's very important. People like to, and you'll see from Agata, and I'm sure those of you that are in agriculture are seeing the shift of the storytelling. It's gonna be great to have Aiden, because again, the videos that he did were for this trade show, and it was to show the impact to the buyer of what happens when you buy, I think it was cocoa for chocolate, okay? It's so important. You have to think of your company story, okay? For those of us in fashion, what's the collection backstory? What inspired you to do this? For products, right? Again, what's the background and the whole supply chain of in agriculture and services? Tell me about why you're offering this particular package. Some of us offer unique things. Why are you, offering this particular package? Why are you better than the other person, right? Back to what is your signature? Make sure they're streamlined through this. Particularly, we know in service sector, there's certain timeframes to, put in your bids, and you need to have everything ready. You get one shot really, right? And you go through this whole bidding process. Well, please don't have a mess and then say like, oh yeah, I'll get to that afterwards. No, make sure you're able to properly communicate this before you go and start these different processes. What is your campaign going to be, right? So back to those components, really good now when you watch Agata's session, you're really going to see basically, how you develop a campaign. Caddy is asking a question about basically, what do you suggest for brands with a very small range of products for the catalog? That's okay. You can basically put, again, pictures around it, right? So I just want to jump back. Where am I? You could use a lot of pictures, right? So this could be your catalog and then just adding a line sheet at the end. Tell me the inspiration, tell me what's about it. I have many brands that I work with that have 5 signature products, 5 to 10, and that's okay. A lot of people don't necessarily order more than that. And explain why you have a small range. It could be for sustainability, that you believe in, basically not overconsumption. You know your customer quite well. She just wants a 5 product range. All the different products go together and it makes sense. But this is where the selling part of it, Kadi, comes in. And a lot of you have the same type of question. Tell me the backstory, inspire me with these different images. Show me, the craftsmanship. Why is it only those 5 products? Because again, it's so highly crafted. Show me that process, right? If you're doing handbags, I want to see that it's very well done, right? And then the impact, maybe, if it's necessary for your brand, which many of us now pretty much 100% across the board, there's a lot of impact that buyers want to see with that. Give me a little bit of that, right? Give me a bit of that storytelling. So it's the storytelling. So it doesn't matter how many products you have. You could just be selling one type of avocado. Why should I go with you over someone else? If you're part of a collective, which many of us are, that's an amazing story as well. So make sure you're telling a part, the supply chain of that as well. Very important that all of you are thinking of this now. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're doing services, agriculture, fashion, where is your buyer, right? So you don't want to go, if you're doing avocados or you're doing cocoa and you're not organic, why would you waste your time with Whole Foods in the States, right? When they only want, organic products, right? Why would you go to Waitrose and to different, people in the UK or some of the, into Germany where they really want mostly, organic or fair trade products, right? So make sure you're really understanding your target market, where you are in the supply chain, but just because you're here in the supply chain and the customer's here, you have to know all the components so you don't waste your time, right? You're going to have to do a lot of outreach here again. And again, you're part of this amazing platform. So this is really important that you understand that. Those of you in fashion, most of you have heard me speak before, please do know your customer. I don't want to hear your luxury and you're going after Harrods when your product is only 100, okay? So please make sure you really understand that as well. So basically, this is, it's the research that you need to do. I don't know if any of you heard yesterday, we had a panel, it was amazing, with Sunny Delat, Omiyemi Akrele, Malat Takumarian, and Teni Majikadumi from all different parts of the fashion side, but it was very interesting how all of them said, you must research. If they could give you any advice, and this is for all of you, you need to begin researching right now. Okay, those of you that are going, to the show, which all of you are obviously, February is around the corner. We know December is lost. It just always is. I don't know what happens. And the first 2 weeks of January just always seem crazy, right? You have to actually make this be a priority. You need to be looking for buyers now. You need to be viewing and inviting and researching on your own. You need to begin this ASAP. And it's really, really important. You know the key market dates, and again, that this is going to be in February. So guess what? You're going to have to start reaching out to people in January. Are you ready? Okay. Are you ready to invite people to come? And I'm going to show you different invites, but you need to not waste anyone's time. You know, you're going to be on this grand platform, so you need to begin researching as soon as possible. So you know that you need these different items. I think you get it, what you need for a successful market. You know they need to be digital. Aiden? I'm hearing a voice, I wasn't sure. But you need to basically conduct prior to the market. You need to do buyer outreach prior to this market. So I showed you the different components. I'm hitting now, I can see, I don't want to go over too much. I think the other team is going to join, but I want to make sure that you have a good handle on this. So we showed you the digital tools. You're going to get all those links. Once you have all of that together, you need to really begin buyer outreach. So you need to basically, I'm saying retailers here, those of us in, you know, services, those of us in agriculture, you know, you basically would be basically, it's not retailers, but it is basically target buyers or sourcing, right? And that's basically what it is. You need to develop a list of 25. All of you should be reaching out very properly to 25 different people. And you want to make sure, again, those of us in the fashion side, where do your customers shop? Where is your competition stocked? And what are the complementing brands? Those of us in agriculture, guess what? It's very similar. And you're going to say to me, wait, I don't understand. Like, Tara, I'm selling avocados here. Okay, I'm selling cocoa beans. I'm selling, you know, what are you talking about? Again, your end consumer, where are your products ending up? Are they going to Waitrose? Are they, I don't know, I'm picking on Waitrose today, how random, sorry. Are they going to a general grocery store or more of a high level grocery store? You know, or, you know, basically a specialty type, a trade, they only work with fair trade, they only work with, you know, high-end food products. And you want to make sure is, hold on, I'm just going to tell everyone to join when they're ready. Sorry, guys. I'm ready. So you just would really want to make sure that you are really, you know, again, understanding. Why would you go and try to target an agent or a mid buyer for someone that deals with a mass retailer like an Aldi, when your customer really, when you're noticing the other people were basically taking your product from a higher level? And then this now is going to really affect your pricing, right? An Aldi buyer, who's a big retailer in Europe and now starting to, or grocer in the States, you know, why would you go to an Aldi when you could be selling, you know, you've been selling to Harrods and to other very high-end type food markets, right? You have to really look at your pricing and see, does that make sense for you? They're going to ask for, you know, a bit of more of a price break. You would have to really look at that and see. So, you know, you want to just really make sure that you understand who you're reaching out to. You're really now going to have to, you're going to do your research. You're going to find the different distributors if you're in, you know, agriculture, agents. You want to really be looking at, if you're in fashion, the different buyers. You know, we'll spend more time doing that going forward, but it's important that you're starting to think of that and now thinking more about the buy, you know, the outreach part of it. Do your research. So don't just research 25. You should be looking at a good 50. Go on to LinkedIn and to start to stalk these people and start to figure this out. You need to then look at, you know, different stores and do, you know, different trade magazines. Those of you that are in grocery, those of you that are in services, you should be reading what's happening. Those of you that are, you know, trying to get an MTN contract or trying to get, you know, Safaricom contract, I hope you are subscribing to the latest, you know, trade papers, right? You want to be going and looking at the different trade shows and watching the different webinars and who are the guest speakers, right, from these different organizations. Agriculture, I hope you are subscribing to all these things, you know, looking at Fresh Market and looking at, you know, who's attended that, looking at the trends that come from that. You know, what are you seeing in the supply chain? A huge opportunity. If you're seeing a buyer being quoted that they're having supply chain issues and you can, you know, that region quite well and you can actually shift and get product to them, well, this is a great time for you to reach out to them, right? So you have to be very strategic about this. It's a huge business opportunity. And again, the power of saying that you're part of Expo 2020, right, through SheTrades Global is such a proper, you know, business backing, right? Something I just really, you know, I'm looking at the time here. I don't want to go over too much, but I've met so many people. I can't get into all the examples today, but I just had to put this on here because I have seen so many emails from people and they say to me, Tara, I don't know why I'm not getting traction with this buyer. And I've written them so many times. But the email is, Dear Jane Smith, my name is, Sally Smith, and this is my product and blah, 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 me, right? Well, she gets thousands of those mails, right? You need to now think of Jane, right? Or the buyer, I forgot her name now. You need to think about what she's going through. So if you've done some research, and this is applying to fashion as well, right? You want to make sure across the board here, if you're seeing this one buyer, and let's say they were quoted in a sourcing journal, and they're saying that they're having, sourcing issues, write about it and say, Dear Jane, I really enjoyed your quote in the so-and-so sourcing journal. Really understand what you're going through. And we actually, my company, we would love to, there's a lot of synergies because we would be able to alleviate your supply chain issues. I've attached here a bit about our company, and I'd love to have a meeting with you. Okay. So think about that. Just understand, think about the difference of that. You saw she had a problem. Whoa, you just offered her solution, right? Those of you that are in manufacturing in the fashion side, think about it. Right now, manufacturing is crazy, 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 crazy. You should be looking and seeing if buyers or stores are selling out way too quickly. If you're seeing customers complaining on Instagram about a certain store or brand because they can't get their products. A lot of people are doing a direct to consumer pre-order drop or doing small quantities and then doing reorders, and they're having a hard time getting back into stocks, right? So it's very, very important that you understand, you should be then writing and changing the way you write and offering them solutions. Do your research again. I can't get into everything right now, but just think about it. Google different, you're going to go into LinkedIn, you're going to find that person, you're going to see what they do, and then you're going to, again, Google them. Notice what they're doing on Instagram. A lot of the buyers now, I'm going to take fashion for a second, they're required to live their lives on Instagram as part of their contracts now. So don't be creepy and write them, until you're ready to write them. But if there's certain synergies and things that work, very, very important. I would highly suggest as well, really taking the time as well to learn and meet everyone that is a part of this as well. Where I've seen people have major success, before I get to this next slide, is collaboration together of reaching out to buyers and cross promotion. I've seen it has worked. I've done major trade shows internationally, and I can tell you it is so important that you promote particularly your countries, particularly, just wherever you can collaborate. Collaboration, as what did Tenny say yesterday, Majid Kadumi from Eclectic Chic and was formerly with SheTrades Commonwealth, collaboration is currency, okay? And it's so true. And this is across all merchandise categories. Obviously, we have direct competition, you don't be sharing trade secrets, but you need to think about how to collaborate and how to cross promote. So if you're video services, then maybe let's think about, what else, who else can you collaborate with to sell services? Is there an online cloud platform? Just think of different people that are on here. People that are in fashion, I want to see you collaborating. If you're decorative home, find a good, handbag, apparel. Look at basically people that have complementary products that are not direct competition that you could reach out to buyers together and invite them, promote them on your Instagram. Really think about now, and you need to be networking as a group. I cannot stress this enough. I'm hoping that you're forming relationships with each other. Please, you need the support during the event. Also as well, you can, again, if you're seeing maybe it's slow one day or something, this happens. Okay, what do we need to do on Instagram to get some buzz, right? And this has really, really worked. We did this during New York Now's digital market, really, really worked. We did this over the summer, a lot of the brands, and we really saw then buyers saw a huge buzz about this particular group that was presenting. And then they got orders, right? Agriculture, think about it. If you maybe don't have the capacity to go after some of these big brands, but then someone else does down the road or has half like you do, can you collaborate together, and can you basically target, and can you really basically target these bigger buyers and get a bigger order and streamline together? So it's very important that you collaborate with your promotion. Think about resources, particularly in shipping right now. Those of you like Lisa, you're very lucky. You don't have to do shipping and logistics. But those of us in the actual hard products, like agriculture and fashion, textile and apparel, you need to think about how can you collaborate with others as well for shipping, right? We all need to be paying attention to what's happening in our regions, especially with the latest shutdowns that have occurred. So please make sure again that you are collaborating. It is very, very, very important. Again, this is some quick slides on just how you obtain the buyer information. I don't want to hear that none of you could find a certain buyer. Okay, I wish when I started my career 20 years ago, LinkedIn existed. Okay, you are given a gift. LinkedIn is basically, you will find that buyer. Okay, you're going to Google and you will find that buyer. I don't want to hear, do you have their email? We all know, we Google the company, we Google and say, what is this buyer's email? And then you basically are able to find it and try different formats. Okay, you basically, you can basically do that. Company websites, call the store directory. Basically, I don't want to hear you couldn't find a buyer. You need to, do lots of research. Basically, you want to be able to, take that time, like I said. And I don't want to hear anyone buying a paid list. They're usually old, they're not worth it. You need to really go and learn each of these markets. Really great question from Swapan. Should companies focus on markets in the Middle East, UK, EU, US, or everywhere in the world? Depending on where you think your market share is, but I would definitely, pay attention to the Middle East. But to be honest with you, this is a global event. So it's really a great opportunity if you're trying to target a certain market and you just can't get there, especially now with everything, shutdowns, what have you. This is a great way to showcase your brand to a particular market. So you can invite that buyer and say, I'm presenting on SheTrades Global during this time frame. You send them your invite, and basically then it's a great way. So Swapan, I was giving you a non-answer, but you really can, it's internationally, any market that you want. So if you're in Latin America and you're trying to get traction in the US, perfect, invite that buyer to take a look at this. Great part is it's digital, time zones don't matter. It is good that you check every single day, right? You want to see your email that you've given, any messaging that's happened. A lot of you will be networking as well, but it doesn't matter because of this being digital, it's online, right? So you don't have to worry about time zone types of information. This is basically really quickly for those of us that are looking to do Instagram outreach. I just want to state this because I've seen people make some mistakes. Please make sure that, again, Agatha is going to get into this, but before, again, you reach out to anyone, what did I say? Every single part of your branding has to be perfect. So please, if you're going to be reaching out on LinkedIn, or you're going to be reaching out on Instagram, you're going to be reaching out whatever platform, please make sure that your logo is the same that it's in your email. Please make sure it's a high res. Please make sure the information is correct and up to date. Please make sure your pictures are beautiful. Agatha and Aiden are going to show you amazing ways of having beautiful campaigns and representing your brand. But just really make sure, again, that you are taking the time, slowing down and just making sure everything is correct, because you get one chance, right? So again, you want to make sure when you're doing your outreach, your 10X is ready. You want to make sure, again, all the different touch points are perfect. Some tips that I see that really work is, this is more for services and for fashion, unless you deal with smaller farmer places like fair trade places, smaller places, maybe in Germany and some other different places, then you could follow these tips. But basically, you really want to make sure that you can follow the brand, and then you can reshare their content a little bit, but don't do it every day. Okay, occasionally, if it's online with the brand. And a direct message. I cannot stress enough the success that brands have had this past year direct messaging. Now they have to be smaller stores. Like if it's a large retailer, usually the social media teams not forward that information and don't really, that won't answer those kind of questions and inquiries. But boutiques, specialty stores, really you can interact, and you can really, basically a great example, Lulu Kotolo from Kenya, she tells this story all the time. She basically was following this amazing boutique in New York, and she really wanted to get in there because it was great for her brand. It was a great location. She knew that customer really would, embrace her product. She saw they put a necklace on their Instagram that actually corresponded with her whole stationery set. She couldn't believe it, messaged them and said, we have a lot of synergies, and basically then they're buying from her now. And it's been going on for almost a year. So it's great to really basically do this research and find these different tips, or find these different boutiques that you have synergy with. But you need to be authentic to yourself, right? And that's where really understanding your customer and your brand, and taking this time, starting with a color palette, going through, like, these different components are done for a reason, because it's basically making sure you're as authentic as possible. So I'm losing my voice. That's okay. What was I saying? Oh, you really want to make sure, again, email is probably the best way, in addition to those other ways. So, you'll have that conversation on Instagram, and then you're going to move it to email. You want to make sure, again, you're going to be emailing, you'll know your links, or to 10X. We'll make sure that you understand how buyers can register for the platform so they can join, but you want to make sure that you're emailing them a proper invite, and, really making sure that you are not relying just on us. You want to make sure you're going and doing that as well too. People always ask me, what do I do? Do I just send to the 25, or do I do like a MailChimp blast? I suggest doing both. So I have my 25 that I'm really going to write those crafted emails to, that I was talking about quickly. And then we're going to have the general buyer outreach, right? You're going to basically, you can send to a whole blast of list, as many people as you want. You usually don't have much traction from that, but it can't hurt to do it as well. So you have your 25 really crafted, taking the time to research those buyers, really stalking them, as I say. I'm going to get arrested one of these days for saying these things anyway. And then basically, then you can just do this general MailChimp. But please, again, I don't want anyone reaching out to any buyers until you listen to Agatha in the next session, and then to Aiden, and then really making sure, again, you're doing that digital check, right? Making sure that all the components here make sense, right? And whenever I log on to any place I see your brand, it's the same. Very, very, very similar. Okay, just some questions here. Swapan, I know you were asking about product trends. It still has continued, again, this trans-seasonal products. It is basically now, it's very interesting due to, again, the uncertainty with all the supply chains. And then again, it's a bit frightening what happened, not frightening, sorry, that's the wrong word, but this week, it's going to be a very telling week to see what's going to happen again with shipping and that kind of thing, with the different countries doing their border problem, shutting down their borders. That will really affect, again, the supply chain. So, we're already seeing where we had Christmas shortages internationally, and because people just couldn't get product, this is going to continue again, it looks like, for a while. So someone, like your company, so Swapan, just so you guys are aware, he has a decorative home company based out of Bangladesh. So he deals a lot with jute products and other types of home products. So again, it is good if you can have products that can be for any season. Again, that's my personal opinion. If you are known for doing, certain winter products or spring products, please don't go and change your whole product, or your whole, my brain's fried, your whole product offering. Key trends, again, that are happening. Those of you that heard me speak before, anything outdoor is continuing, and you're going, Tara, what are you talking about? It's in, where you are, it's getting into winter because of this fear again. It was amazing. I was in Dubai last week, and I just couldn't get over the amount of people sitting outside. Even, Dubai would be quite hot. I know this is normally it's the less hot, it's their winter, quote unquote, but it really shocked me the amount of people outside and prefer to be outside, and many people like, air conditioning. So it is basically continuing that trend. So anything, and people are still very into, they're extending their home to the outdoors. And then we're seeing as well, then people are continuing to be outside more with their working out and being healthy, and that is really shifting. We still are seeing, again, that blend of loungewear. We're seeing a lot of people, again, due to just emotionally this week, many people are still, buying more more loungy type pieces. But then on the flip side, you're seeing people being tired of that and going crazy. So, we're seeing people overdressing for things as well. So evening wear is just as strong a category as loungewear. Go figure, you couldn't be more opposite. And then we're seeing for spring, right? We all saw the trends. People really, dresses were like a very big thing for those of us in fashion. Really seeing how, people just really wanted to, gosh, it just like over the top cutouts, just really dressed up, going out type of outfits. Luxury and spending a bit more on pieces is something that, we are seeing people doing. But then this inflation is really also impacting spends as well. So there is a bit of an issue in the US market where we saw this particular Black Friday, the biggest, shopping day. People weren't going out into the malls as much. We'll see now the results for Cyber Monday yesterday, and then extends a couple of days. But we are seeing and hearing from consumer reports, they're being very nervous about inflation. So some of you heard me talk about the trends and consumer trends. Inflation is, again, this is something that backs people's minds, and financial insecurity is something that we keep hearing over and over and over again, right? So just think about that as you're going, and doing your products. People become, again, some customers become a bit more price sensitive. I just want to reiterate as well, people are very afraid, just like you are this week. This is where your messaging has to be very calm, clear, and concise. So just remember, a buyer is going to be very skittish, and any little thing that you do, right, that's where your marketing has to be so perfect, is because she really is, or he, excuse me, will be a bit frightened by what's happening, right? These latest, the way the globe is shut down so quickly this past week was really, I've never seen anything like it before. And just the way people were speaking constantly and the fear that they're having. So just remember that is going to be in buyers' minds. And, what are you going to do from a supply chain point of view, particularly agriculture? What are you going to do to get that food there on time, right? Because there's spoilage and there's a lot of things that go into that. So just be aware that that's on buyers' mind. If you're in services, you are lucky, because I think, Lisa, if you just heard what I was saying, everything's going digital again. So if you're doing video production services, my word, you are very lucky. If you're doing cloud services, everyone's moving to the cloud, continuing, right? We're still online, right? All the shopping, everything that we're doing, although look at us today, is online. So if you're in services, whew, you are lucky, 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 lucky. So that trend will continue, and cloud is really moving. So what does that mean for those of you in services? Well, you have to strengthen the infrastructure, right? So why is MTN hiring so many local service providers? Trying to strengthen the infrastructure, right? To handle all of us moving online. So, these trends, I love when people say, oh, we're not, oh, my sector is so different, but we actually all are impacted by each other. The fashion sector actually is impacting the tech sector because so many of us are shopping online and wanting instant gratification and wanting our, to buy quite quickly. So I know that was a long answer to your question, Swapan, but I know that you really always want to know that information. If you're not registered on LinkedIn, what other platforms or professional, you need to, I'm just going to tell you right now, you have to register on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, I know that's really not, that was very direct, and thank you for answering that. I really would suggest, if you're conducting international business, you need to have a very good LinkedIn profile. I always suggest your company has a LinkedIn profile, and then you have a LinkedIn profile. Why? Well, those of you that have heard me speak before, connection is everything. Agatha will probably talk about connection. I know you, I see your name. Connection, I'm not going to meet you. How do I know who you are? I trust LinkedIn. We all internationally use LinkedIn at the end of the day. And it supports how many different languages, right? That's the great part. Arabic, it's a universal platform. I don't have shares in LinkedIn, I'm going to be very honest. But, you're putting yourself publicly there. I'm seeing now your background. I'm not just, it's not just the information you're telling me. I'm able to go to a source to verify who you are, because I can't meet you. I'm not able to go and see personally a lot of your, I don't know what products that you're into, but this is also for fashion. This is for every product sector. LinkedIn has become the credibility way. I can see what networks you're part of. I can see if there's any updates about your company. So you have to really get on there. Especially, I cannot tell you how many buyers checked it this past season. It's still continuing. So we saw it in the beginning of the pandemic, and now, you know, it's just a way of doing business now, checking. Quickly, we go to your social media, we go to LinkedIn, and we go to your website and verify you. So it is something, don't go crazy, don't kill yourself, you know, overthinking it, but make sure that I'm able to tell who you are, right? What are you doing? How long have you been in business? Many of us as well have other backgrounds that are quite impressive, right? May not be related to our field, or, you know, have experience. I've been working for how long? Make sure that that's there. It shows me that you are, you know, a credible person. You know, you don't have this hidden past that I'm not aware of. Oh, wow, this is a business professional. This person, you know, has been doing, and if you've been working in a store, now you have a fashion brand, that experience is quite relevant to buyers, right? In agriculture, you know, what you know is so important. Many of us cannot afford these crazy expensive certifications. But if I know as a buyer that you've been doing this for how long, you can put, you know, your different thoughts on there. You can share the different techniques and things that you do, you know, that is a way for a buyer to feel a bit more comfortable working with you. So that was a very long answer to your question. Sorry, Samira, but I really feel passionate about that, especially in this digital age. Okay, that was a lot, everyone. We promised to get to Agatha and Aiden as well right away. Before I turn it over, Wendy, are there any more questions or comments I should be aware of? Or Mira or Krupa?
Thanks a lot, Tara. I think you answered all of them, but please feel free, the audience, to actually put your questions up, and we'll share it with the speakers. And thanks a lot, Tara. I think as soon as you mentioned collaboration, I saw also a lot of activities on the chat. And I think that's great to mention. I had the chance to work on many SheTrades Global events, and many times actually buyers were, all the women entrepreneurs wanted to meet with the big buyers, and they didn't see the opportunity just sitting next to them. And actually, as soon as they connected, they were able to sometimes meet the order of large buyers, etc. So I think that's the great part of what you mentioned, and also the different panel discussion we had this week about collaboration, networking, etc. There's been some questions, and I'll take them. I think they're more linked to, do we have buyer profiles on SheTrades platforms? So as you know, we have different platforms. We have the current platform for the event, and buyers register there, and they're the ones that are asking for the meetings, because many buyers that join, they don't want to be a bit too much overwhelmed. So they are the ones selecting based on their requirements who they want to meet with the support of business support organizations, experts that are part of the event, and also the team. We also have SheTrades.com. All of you who registered on the Road to SheTrades Global and on SheTrades Global will have the access on SheTrade.com, where you'll have also a lot of opportunity to network with a larger group of women. And also there's a system that is called tenders. So this platform is free of charge. And there you can see some buyers also put some of the tenders. So you can access it. It's on the left side of the platform. And you just click and you can see some of the offers. How can you invite buyers to the virtual platform? So buyers can register as market partners, and then we review their profile, and also make sure that we guide them through the great list of companies that applied for this event, and also maybe some other matches. And we work with that also with the business support organization leading the different delegations. And also we'll provide a special guest access. So all the companies that are exhibiting, so their network can also come and also view the virtual booth with a very short registration, as you know, or like long registrations on SheTrades to make sure that you have the right matches, etc. So you'll have different ways that buyers can interact, either as registering as market partners, and they're the one really appointing appointments in Dubai or virtually, or they can come as a guest and visit and then interact on the booth, etc. As you can see from Aya presentation from Event 10X, you'll be able to download everyone who clicked on your brochure or on your booth. So you'll be able to follow up with all the great tips that Tara shared with you. And thanks a lot, Agatha and Aidan also share some wonderful tips to get ready for this event. Tara, back to you.
Oh, no, great. And I just want to, I think that's so important. Again, I know I'm now going to, like, the two of us are going to say this over and over and over till we're blue in the face, but collaboration is everything. And like you said, Wendy, I just hope, like, I'll give an example of two brands that work together. So one brand was from Bangladesh, one was from Nigeria. They literally just met once online and through one of these networking events. And then, oh, no, sorry, they met in person, my apologies, but still, they just like met, they just saw each other. And basically then they developed, one had jute and the other basically was a clothing designer that was going into footwear. She was looking to do espadrilles, the clothing designer, and then realized, oh, wait a second here. I've always wanted to do it with jute, but how would I do the rubber part, right? How would this all work? And she just mentioned it by, thinking about that, how does jute work? The two of them collaborated and basically it was 100% sell-through. And it was one of the best things that ever happened. And it just was because they basically just continued it to WhatsApp and they formed this collaboration. Then the brand in Bangladesh was able to get more business because she was able to show, look, I successfully did this collaboration. That person had 100% sell-through and we delivered from Bangladesh to Nigeria and the product was well received. And here's all the customer feedback as well too. So just again, I just really think what Wendy just said, because people's obsession with these big buyers and there's huge opportunities sitting right in front of them and they miss it. So make sure you are forming alliances, make sure you're networking, and you need, especially now with everything going on in the world, you also need a support system. Please, you join SheTrades for a reason. You're looking for business opportunity, you're looking to learn more, but you also, I just have to stress this, you need people that you can reach out to and gripe to, ask about what's happening. When in your life do you get a global platform where people are all over the world, where you can message and say, hey, what's happening on the ground? Let's say I'm in Bangladesh, I want to know what's happening in Latin America, let's say in Brazil. I could find someone on here, I can network with them. What's happening? I'm in East Africa, what's happening in West Africa? I want to know what's happening, right? And this is a great opportunity for you to really forge, a support system. So I want to really stress that as well. So please take this as an amazing opportunity. I've now, gosh, my second one, and it was just like Liverpool was really the networking that came from this. Again, or from that, please make sure this is even on a global, a more of a larger scale even. So please make sure that you're not just taking, looking at this one part of it, you're utilizing every part of the event. Okay, so important. But now we want to get to Agatha for her session. So she's going to be handling this part of the booth, but really it's I'm teasing. It's really important that you have a strong social media strategy. And I think we've been very blessed, some of us, to hear her speak before. But now she's gonna be talking about all the different sectors, but just overall the importance of your social media and omni-channel. So Agatha, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and I'm just gonna stop sharing and turn this over to you right now. And any more questions, everyone, just keep putting it in the chat. Thank you.